I perceive my body as being normal. But the perception of the general public out there is that I am not normal, that I am slovenly, that I am lazy, that I am fat, that I have no self-control, that I'm a pig, that I'm a sloth, that I'm there to be made fun of. And that's how society looks at an obese individual. They did this to themselves. They deserve everything they get. That's why obese individuals don't speak up. They don't step up. They're the ones that are at the back of the family photos, hiding their shame that they've been taught to be ashamed of by society, by their families. They're the ones that are the discombobulated heads standing at the back of the family photo, hiding their bodies so that only their head is seen. They're not really smiling. They're there because they were told to be there. They don't want to be there. They want to be invisible. That's why they're at the back of the photo. Accept yourself for who you are. Don't be categorized into a category that the general public feels that you should be in. Be comfortable with who you are. Live your life. You only have one. You don't even know how much time you really truly have. So you need to enjoy it. You need to express yourself. You need to be who you are. What a boring world it would be if we were all the same size. If we were all the same size, height-wise, weight-wise, color. That's the wonderful thing about the world, is that we are all individuals and we all contribute. And wouldn't it be shocking if it was an overweight, obese individual who, came up with the cure for cancer? My gosh, the one that was beat down all the time is the one who cures it. You have no idea. An obese person doesn't want to be treated any differently than any other person on this planet. An obese person wants to be treated with the same dignity, the same respect that any other person would demand and would expect. But it's not what an obese person expects. An obese person expects to be beat down. So I would tell them to stand up, be proud, and celebrate who they are. But that's easier said than done. It's every day. It's the looks you get when you walk into a restaurant. Should a fat person be eating in a restaurant? You don't have to hear the words. You can just get the look. I experience it every single day. It doesn't bother me as much, but I've seen it thrown at other individuals over the course of a lifetime. I've lived this way for 38 years. So I've experienced it, I've lived it, I've watched others. One person at a time. You change people one person at a time. I think every person that lives life as an obese individual has been hampered by weight. Weight gets in the way of you getting a job. Weight gets in the way of you properly exercising. Weight stops you from going to a gym where you're not welcome, where you're truly not welcome, where you should be welcomed, but you're not welcomed. You're stared at, you're looked at, you're made to feel inferior. Like, why are you here? You're not welcomed. Not until you show them that you're there for a purpose. But it's such a daunting place that for years I wouldn't allow myself to go into a gym. Because who wants to go to a place where they're going to make fun of you? My life is already there. But that's not the case for most people. That's you don't become the chair of the Canadian Obesity Network Public Engagement Committee without having stepped out of the box, that very safe zone that you live your life in. You don't do that if you want to stay in your box. You come outside the box and you say that life is worth living and you want to affect change and you want to make change. And you can't do that in a box. So it's about, for me, it's about getting busy living. I'd spent far too many years getting busy dying, getting bigger, exponentially bigger, over the course of many, many years, to the point where there was a time when I was a 505-pound person. I'm about a 370-pound person, but I'm still considered morbidly obese. And I've lost, 135 pounds. Doesn't matter, because the general public still looks at me. The medical profession still looks at me as morbidly obese. They have nothing positive to say about me, but I'm not going to allow that to define me. I'm not going to allow anyone to define me, certainly my weight. So I will stand up, I will speak up, I will speak out, and I will change opinions, one person at a time if necessary. If I can just talk to one person and have them look at it from a completely different perspective. I'm never going to change your bias. I'm never going to change how you were brought up. But if I can have you think from a different perspective, if I can have you understand what it's like to live life as an obese individual, you know, the challenges that an obese individual faces, I don't want to be treated differently. I don't. I just want to be treated the same as everybody else, afforded the same opportunities, afforded the same respect. The box is limiting, and when you see injustice in the world, you want to speak up. But I want to show, for me, it was over time. It was over time that I could come out of the box, come out of the shell, and live my life and not worry about what anybody else had to say. But it also came, you know, after being called every name that you could possibly imagine, and think of new ones and colorful ones. Anything that was not nice, I've probably been called it. And you build a thick skin, and you don't allow it to hurt you anymore. But I think my life, my journey into the dark world of obesity is one of those that is shocking, but it's not unique. There are others that I know that have suffered the same that I have suffered to get to where you become a 505-pound man, where you don't give a crap about anything. You just don't. The only thing that brings you comfort is food. And for me, it was just a realization that I'm not going to allow anyone to define me anymore. I'm not going to be afraid to walk into that gym. I don't give a crap what anybody has to say. I'm here for me. But so many people like me don't have that courage. They haven't built up the ability to set aside what everybody is saying about them and just be comfortable with who they are. That we're lazy. That we're gluttons. That we eat and eat and eat with no control. I'm sure it would surprise you to know that I probably eat less food than you do in a day. But that would be a conception that we're lazy, a perception that we're lazy, that an obese person has no self-control, that we don't want to get out, we don't exercise, we don't do anything. I think that, you know, to be told to eat less and move more and you'll lose weight, you know, it's all about, you know, getting more movement, getting more exercise. You wouldn't be this fat if you were out there exercising, walking. I don't know how much more walking anyone would expect an obese individual, let's say, carrying 500 pounds, when you consider that a 500-pound person who gets up from a seated position every single day is lifting 500 pounds every single day and is moving those 500 pounds every single day. I walked from my parked car to the building. I moved my 370-pound body all that way. I'm not lazy. I'm not sloth-like. I actually get exercise every single day, about 2 hours of walking. walking every single day. I guess that those would be the misconceptions. And I would ask that people not judge anyone. You have no idea what their journey has been like. You have no idea how they got here. You have no idea what they've endured. None whatsoever. You have no concept of what it truly means to live life as an obese individual. You just don't. And you could never put yourself into those shoes. You could try. I challenge anyone. I'll challenge you to a week, each of you. Put on a 50-pound backpack. Just 50 pounds. Carry it around for a week. See how you feel at the end of the week. And you don't get to take it off. You wear it 24/7. The times were very different when I grew up. I think you guys are about a third of the age that I am now. So I came from a home where my mother loved with food. Old Ukrainian lady. So we had lots of rich sauces and lots of deep fried foods. And that's the way it was, and Mom loved with food. We also came from a time where you didn't leave the table until you ate everything on your plate. So even if you were stuffed, you still had to eat everything you took. And if you took seconds and you couldn't finish them, that wasn't allowed. You had to finish what you took. So the times are different, for certain. My mom personally didn't care about my weight. I came from a home where my mom was almost as big as I got to. So I had a total of 5 brothers and sisters. I guess I would be one of them. So I was one of 5. An older brother, 3 younger siblings. There were triplets. My older brother is older by 51 weeks. We share the same mom and the same dad. 51 weeks to the day. He's 5'2", or he was 5'2", and about 140 pounds. I'm 6'3", and I'm at my heaviest, 505 pounds. We were raised exactly the same way. Why am I a 500-pound man? Why is he 140 pounds? I don't know. But my other brother and 2 sisters, my 2 sisters suffer from obesity as well. So 3 of the 5 kids suffer from obesity. And that's the way it is. So,
Right.
Did Mom say anything? No. Mom encouraged the craziness. She'd go on a diet and you'd see that she was doing successful. It was crazy diets, but you'd see success, so you'd want that because you're living life. School is hard when you're obese. Teenagers are the worst human beings on the planet. I feel like you are less than a human being. They can beat you down. They can make you think the worst, most incredible, horrible thoughts about harming yourself, ending it, because that's how painful it can get. So, and the times are different, but they're really not that different. We bully still. That's a little less acceptable, but if I was talking to myself and it was now in the 21st century, or then when I was 12 years old and experiencing life where, I started gaining weight as a result of some sexual trauma that was inflicted upon me for about 5 years. So I would love to tell myself to go and tell somebody, say something. I know I'm not the only person that has gained their weight in that way. But I guess it's very hard to speak up when you're only that old. But if I had the opportunity to speak to somebody that was my age now, I would want to encourage them to, if you can hear me and if you can see yourself in my story, in my journey when I'm speaking, then I would encourage you to seek out help. Tell somebody. If it's your mom not listening or your dad's not listening, tell someone, tell your teacher. Because the times are different. The times are really different. And what was acceptable then is not acceptable now. So, what would I tell myself? Easier said than done, let me tell you. That's a hard question because I just don't think that you can easily pull yourself out of the muck and the mire that you're in at the time. I think the abuse has to stop. And if you can get intervention to help with the abuse, to stop the abuse, then perhaps maybe the weight gain would have been stalled, or there would have been a different way of looking at it. I can't change the past. I can't change me. I can't change the experience and the life that I've lived. I guess I can only learn from my experiences, and that's what I share when I speak, is that I was meant to live my journey, and I believe wholeheartedly that everything happens for a reason, and we all have our crosses to bear, so to speak. I'm not a religious man, but we all have our journeys, and I believe that we're all put here to do some task, to do something, and my purpose is to change how obesity is looked at, to change the conversation about obesity, to change others' journeys about obesity, to change others' thoughts about obesity, to have you look at it from a completely different perspective, to have you realize that I'm no different than you are. I really truly am not. If you actually took the time to get to know me, you'd realize that I'm a pretty cool dude. My daughter's friends think I'm pretty cool for a dad, so that's the goal. Just change people one person at a time. Sometimes I get to speak to 400 people, and I get to change things 400 people at a time. Sometimes it's only 20, but each day that's my goal. One person here is my journey. Has been shared so many times. I talk about my journey all the time. There have been different phases of my journey as the work that I do with CON and the Public Engagement Committee has increased, and I've come to embrace the crappy side, the crappy part of the journey. I've always, up until just this past year, this year that we're in, 2017, always glossed over the sexual abuse at the hands of a brother, and always glossed over it, always just talked about a trauma that had occurred between the ages of 12 and 17, and between the sexual abuse and the fact that we were in the same school together, and the threats of exposing what was happening scared the bejesus out of me, and I didn't want anyone to know. And he taunted and teased me at school. He was likable. He was perfect, you know. He was the kid that everybody was friends with. He was good looking. And I was not. He was thin, I was fat. And he made certain that every single friend of his knew that, and he would lead the charge of name calling. And so it happens right from home. And so I could never escape it, ever. Never escape it. I would finish school, I'd come home, I'd cry in my bedroom. We shared a bedroom. And then I'd wait for supper. I'd eat supper. I'd eat 2, 3 helpings of supper. Food brought me comfort. It did. Finish supper, and then I'd walk to the corner store, and I would buy a bottle of Coke, a bag of potato chips, and a chocolate bar. And I did that every single day for years and years and years. Into my adulthood, those are my triggers. Those are the things that bring me the greatest comfort. And I'd come back to my room, I would sit with my goodies, I would watch my television, or I'd put on my music, which brought me the greatest comfort of all. And I would eat my goodies in the privacy of my bedroom. And I didn't give a damn that I was getting bigger. Just, I was already fat, so. And it continued on until I was 17, until I graduated. And he moved out. About that time, in a 5.5 year period, I had gained about 200 pounds between the time I was 12 and 17. So I graduated at 17 and a half. When I started junior high, I was 150 pounds. When I finished grade 12 at 17 and a half, I was 350 pounds. So, they don't make clothes for 350 pound kids. I graduated, walked across the stage wearing a grad gown that didn't fit. It's like, grade 12, on grade 7 to grade 12, I just had the most horrible times. If I could erase a time in my life, I would erase grade 7 to grade 12 and never have lived them. I have no positive memories, no memories I look back on and laugh. I have very few friends, very few. I have two people that I know that I still talk with from my high school days. So move on, become an adult, had 2 children, didn't deal with the issues, continued to gain weight, realized that I'm going to be a big guy. Get to about, I was about 32, got my first diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. Didn't give a damn. Well, I went to the classes. I took care in the beginning, but 6 months or a year afterwards, it's just, you know what, this isn't going to hurt me. It's stupid. If there's anything I wish I could do, I wish I could go back and tell the 32-year-old me that, you know what, you need to continue to check your blood because that shit's going to kill you. And it caused more problems down the road, but you're invincible at 32. You don't realize that things are out of control until you have a mini stroke at the age of 38. And suddenly you're on 14 or 15 different pills. You're taking 50 pills a day for a myriad of problems. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, obesity, issues with your knees, issues with your hips. I was taking 40 milligrams of Oxycontin 4 times a day for 2 years. Just to move. I work in the Crown Prosecutor's Office. I run to court all the time. I'm a busy person. I never stopped doing the things. But we're lazy. We're slovenly. It's like I had bariatric surgery at 42. So I had bariatric surgery 8.5 years ago. At my lowest weight loss, I lost about 160 pounds. I gained about 35 of them back. So my journey is an up and down journey. It's a roller coaster ride. I call it a work in progress. And there are good days and there are bad days. And but coming to terms with the sexual abuse and the abuse has certainly helped me to speak up and speak out. I was already speaking up and speaking out. I think it was coming to grips with that one piece, the one piece sort of helps define how you get there. You can say there's a trauma. What was the trauma? How did it help define you becoming the person that you become? But it empowers me now. I made a conscious decision. The brother who was sexually assaulting me, he died last year of a drug overdose. He never could, and he was a drug addict. He chose his path, I chose my path. He could never apologize, so he went into the 12-step program. I don't know if you know much about the 12-step program, but I think it's step 9 or step 8 or step 9 where you have to apologize, you have to make amends. And he could make amends with everybody but me, so he could never continue on. He realized he'd done wrong, but he could never apologize for it. So I just decided after he passed last year that you're not in control of my life anymore. And I realized I need to talk about it. I need to share it. I went into therapy, and now I share it. Now it's a part of the journey. It's a part of explaining how you get from point A to point B. And now I'm on to point C, which is